Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Bradley Hallman. Really appreciate you guys being here. Today we are going to talk about something I get questions all the time about, continue to get questions. I've actually done some videos in the past on this when I very first started my YouTube channel. I've got some really cool graphics to share with you guys today. We are going to go over some of the most common knots used in bass fishing, some of the ones that I use on a daily basis, some of the ones that are newer to me, and yeah, we're even going to cover the FG knot in this video right here. So guys, we've got the whole spectrum of some of the most common knots out there that we use on a daily basis to share with you guys, and I got some really cool graphics to go with it. So you guys hold on. Today it's all about knots. All right guys, there are thousands of knots out there on the internet for you guys to tie. A lot of stuff to wade through. What I'm going to go through here is 8 to 10 knots that we use on a daily basis, whether I'm using or some friends of mine use, and I know that I'm aware that that's what guys are using on the water during tournaments to kind of help you cut through some of the fluff. Per usual, this is not a blind sponsor, sales pitch, or anything like that. I have run across some really cool stuff with the company that I work with, Sunline. It's got some really good graphics on knots and some really good numbers on knot strengths. This just happens to be something that came across to me on an email. I reached out to them, asked if I could have permission to use this on my YouTube channel. They also have it on their YouTube channel. You guys can go there to Sunline America and check it out. This is where these knot graphics came from. It's actually from their YouTube channel. So I didn't personally make these, but guys, they are so awesome and easy to use and easy to explain with that I thought, how can I not use this? So thank you guys. Shout out to Sunline for allowing me to use this. And guys, let's get right to it. One of the #1 knots that I learned how to fish and tie with is what I'm going to go after, and it's going to be the Palomar knot. It was one of the first knots that I started tying when I started bass fishing tournaments. I learned at a very young age, and guys, this thing is still a knot that a lot of the top pros use. You know, I told you, if it's not a knot that I'm using, it's a knot that somebody else may be. Scott Martin uses this thing to this day on fluorocarbon day in and day out. It surprised me when he told me he's still using this knot, but he wasn't lying. So let's go over the Palomar knot. I'll show you some of these cool graphics that I've got right here on the computer, and then I'll show you a little trick that I have personally on how I tie the Palomar knot 100% correct every time. Like I said to guys, I thought the computer image was a great explanation on how to tie the knot. So you can find it along with many more on their website at Sunline USA. This knot is a knot that I was going to show you a little trick that I do with it that can guarantee that you tie it right the first time. I've been tied it for many years, and I tied it wrong for many years, where sometimes it would be correct and sometimes it would be wrong. And I'll show you a little trick right here on my desk. I brought some line in here so that I can show you guys this right here. If this camera will stay in focus, this is hard to do on film, boys. Okay, I got a double line going through the eye of this jig, just like that hook. So I got 2 pieces of line through here. So we got it on double line like this. It slides. You're just going to do an overhand knot. Slide this through, and then here's the big part. When you lay this knot down, you don't want to twist it like this. See how the line's twisted? You want it like that. Just like that. And then when you tighten this knot up, you want to hold your finger in this hole right here. You want it in this hole. So that when it comes down, you want that to flip over. See if you guys can watch it flip right there. See if you can see that knot flip over. Right there, did you see it jump? That's what you're looking for right there. And then it slides down real easy. And that's how it's tied right every time. So the Palomar knot's a knot that I used to use a whole lot back whenever it was pretty much just straight monofilament. And I still use it quite a bit, but I had problems with it with fluorocarbon when fluorocarbon came out, and I kind of got away from it. But like I said, there's a lot of guys still throwing the Palomar knot, and they're having a lot of success with it. They're not breaking it. So I don't think there's anything wrong with the knot. Where I still use it a lot is with drop shotting. I use Palomar 110% just about anytime I'm using a drop shot hook. So that's where an application is that I'm still using that knot on a daily basis. Along with that, we'll just take it right into the FG knot. You guys want to see it? It's not a knot that I tie. You guys see this graphic, and I think it's kind of funny watching it, but it's not an easy knot to tie. It is like complex as all get out. I still tie a different knot, and I'll show you that right after I show you the FG. So as you guys can see, that is not an easy knot to tie. This is a knot that they're using to tie fluoro to braid on spinning rods. We're using the braid main line with the fluorocarbon leader, 5 to 7 foot long, for spinning applications. And I have tied the Albright knot, which I'll show you guys next. I've tied it from the very beginning. I used to call it the Matt Reed knot because Matt Reed was the one that taught it to me years ago. I personally don't have problems with the Albright knot. I can tie it faster than I could ever tie this FG knot. I honestly haven't taken the time to learn how to tie it just because the Albright knot has been so good to me for so long. I do know a lot of guys that are all about this FG knot. It is legit. It goes through the lines better. It's probably got a better knot strength, tensile strength than the Albright knot does. The biggest thing is that it flows through the guides better and the guys are able to cast it. I looked around the internet and the YouTube to find different things. I will point you guys in the direction. John Cruz has his very own YouTube channel as well. I'm sure a lot of you guys already follow it. He's made a video that's really good on how to tie that thing, but it's not an easy knot to tie. It's just not. The guys that tie it all enjoy it. They say that they can tie it pretty fast in the boat and they don't have a problem with it. They get a system down. That's what John's talking about in his video. If you really want a detail how to tie that knot, you should check out his stuff on his YouTube channel. I've stuck with the Albright just because it's a knot that I've tied for so long. It works for me, and I'll show it to you guys right here. That computer graphic is just spot on, man. That thing is so good. I love using these for that knot tying. It is exactly how I tie it. The only thing that I would suggest that you can't tell from that graphic is that the line that you're doing all the loops with has to be the braided side. You don't want to do that with fluorocarbon. It doesn't work. So when you're tying them together, the one end that's fluorocarbon is the end that's just looped one time that's bent over. And then the other one that's doing all the loops, if you go back and watch it, that is definitely all with braid. Generally, it's something like a 15-pound braided leader to a 6 to 8, 10-pound test fluorocarbon leader. I said that wrong. You get the idea, though, one or the other. But that's what it is. It's a fluorocarbon leader to the braid. The braid's the one doing all the wrapping. So that pretty much covers that for me, and let's get to the very next knot. All right, guys, the 3-tag knot. This is technically the knot that I tie the very most using fluorocarbon. This is probably my number one line knot that I use with fluorocarbon on a multitude of baits. I'm going to tie it here for you guys. You guys will see I tie it a little different than, it's exactly the way that that video shows, but the way that I go about it's different. Same thing as with a Palomar, you're going to double your line over. You guys have seen me tie this a lot. I get a lot of questions on this from guys that see me tie this in the boat. But I basically run it over my finger like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep this tag in, go through this hole, pull it up, wet it, snug it all down. It's got 3 tag ends. You've got the 2 on the loop and that one right there. I slice it off, and that's my knot. So I've tied this so many times. This is my foolproof fluorocarbon knot. This is the one that I got into when fluorocarbon first came out, and I was having problems with other knots. This is the knot that I tie. Now, I will tell you that I thought I was tying the San Diego Jam all along. It's not the San Diego Jam. It is different. It's called the 3 tag knot or 3 tag in knot on this video. It may have another name. If it does, you guys drop it down below. But it is definitely different than the San Diego Jam, which is what I thought I was tying for years, but it's not. But this is definitely the knot that I have been using for a long time. I've had a lot of success with it. This is probably my favorite fluorocarbon knot without a shadow of a doubt. What guys don't like about it is that, I don't know if you can see that, it's got a lot of tag to it, right? Guys don't like that big knot. They feel like that big knot is a problem. So it doesn't bother me. I don't think a fish is coming up there and swimming and looking at whether it's got 2 strands hanging off of it or 3 strands when I've got all this skirt on it, or whether it be a crankbait or whatever. But San Diego Jam looks very much like it, and I'll show it to you guys right here. So as you can see, the San Diego Jam and the 3N tag knot are very, very similar. Probably why I've had them confused, but there's no doubt that that's not the knot I've been tying, the San Diego Jam. But it is definitely a knot that a lot of guys do tie. It's basically in reverse. I'm going back through the loop at the top of the 3 tag in, and they're going through the middle of what's left of the loop at the bottom of the hook. Hence the name Jam, because you're jamming down on the bottom of that loop. And they're very similar. Guys are using both of them. I just prefer the top one. It's quicker and easier for me to tie. Like I say, I've been tying it for a long time. Next on the list is, with this, I got an email that Sunline had done some testing in-house with some line. They used 14-pound fluorocarbon sniper, and they took the knot strengths on a knot testing machine and actually tested some different knots. They have a knot that they kind of collaborated, came up with on their own. It's not a knot that I've tied yet. It's something that I'm going to try and play with. They call it the tornado knot. It is actually the highest testing knot that they have on this 14-pound test that they did in-house to check knot tensile strength on line. It's a pretty cool deal. I'll let you look at the results. I've got them right here. It surprised me too. It was interesting to go back and look at some of the knots that I've tied through the years, whether it be an improved clinch knot or the 3 tag in knot, to see where they rate on this deal. It's pretty cool to look at. I'll let you guys look at this over and see what you think for yourself, and then I'll show you the video. The tornado knot's a pretty simple knot to tie. Like I say, I'm interested in it, and I'm going to show you guys how to tie it here in a second. It's amazing to me that it tested the strongest of all the knots that were out there, but it is what it is, so here it is. All right, there is the new tornado knot. That is a brand new knot to me. It's not something everybody's talking about as of yet, but it's got the data to back it up, right? In 2020, 21, that's what we're always talking about, the science and the data. This one definitely has the data to back it up. So it's a knot that's simple enough. It looks to me very simple to tie. Go back, watch the video a couple times. You guys can figure it out. You've got the FG knot, which is all rave in the world right now that everybody's talking about, and you've also got some of the old-time favorites that I've been tying for a long time, and a lot of us have. I have left off some knots out of this video, so I think that there's probably going to be another part of this. I know we've got to get to some flipping knots where we're going to snail. The double improved clinch knot is a knot that's been tied for many, many years, and there's a reason why. There was the clinch knot, and then the improved clinch knot, and then the double improved clinch knot, and there's a reason why that knot has hung around for so long. And then also the loop knot. I think that's a really good one coming up for top water season. So guys, I can't tell you how much I appreciate y'all being here. Don't forget to bump that like, hit that subscribe. Thank you, Sunline, so much for letting me basically steal your material and put it on my video. I really appreciate the go ahead on that. You guys go check them out. Once again, they got a YouTube channel or on their website, Sunline USA. Guys, until next time, I'm out of here.
Thank you.